you can see the first slide showing that we work on behalf of the World Healthy Living Foundation, and this foundation cooperates with the foundation I Live Consciously. That is public service campaign. I'm going to spend this evening with you. My name is Ludmila Valovaya. I am a physician, immunologist, geneticist, physician of highest category. And if you don't know me, I will tell you I have a long experience in medicine. I've been retired for some time. For 7 years, I've been a military physician, and for the last 26 years, I've been doing orthomolecular medicine. That is the medicine related to correct molecules for health restoration. And for these 26 years, I've learned the supplements and nutritive products in depth of 5 international companies. So I can say I do understand them as a professional. I participated as a speaker at 15 international medical conferences. They were held in 7 different countries. I do not teach. I share my knowledge. And why is that? Because to teach, well, you know, there is a lot of information available right now, and there will be even more information, and people tend to forget information, and besides the information also changes. But I transfer knowledge through understanding, and if you understand things, then you can use any knowledge. That's my approach. Today, what we are going to talk about? We are continuing our cycle of health related to seasons. And today's topic is called Autumn Wonders. Find this inspiration on gloomy November days. In November. Thank God I am now witnessing the times when people realize that it is better to live in accordance with the rules of nature. And if we do so, we will be wiser and also healthier. How does nature influence us? That's very easy. Not just the nature, but the rules, so the laws of nature that are a part of the nature. And we can continue these deliberations, and we can simply analyze, and my extensive experience shows me that that is correct. Today, we are going to talk about November. How today, what happens in the nature, what happens in our body, how are these changes reflected, and how is that related to our well-being and, of course, to the way we feel. There is this good sentence: nature has no bad weather, but it has November. That is the gloomiest month of the year, whether we want it or not. There is this period in our life when it rains and it's cold, it may even snow, and if you go outside, you see this black and white picture, no colors. And that is why you don't feel like going out. And you may think, yeah, it feels like the nature does influence us. That is the truth. And not only these magnetic storms that affect our health, especially in those who are sensitive to them. We can have and we can observe irritation, apathy, and you feel down, you feel depressed. And why do we feel down? At the end of autumn, and November is the end of autumn, that is the last month of autumn, our body has reduced level of melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone, and its amount decreases. What is melatonin? It means that we have somnolence, we feel tired, we get tired faster. Look at the nature. Everything, all living organisms get ready for winter, for cold weather. Some animals already go into hibernation, but we are not hedgehogs or bears or any other animals that hibernate in winter, but we nevertheless are part of the nature. And that is why we also have to undergo changes to get ready for winter. The same goes for plants. You don't see anything green, everything goes to sleep, and November is the last month. And why it is the saddest and the gloomiest one? Because everything and everyone must be ready for winter, for this cold season. And that is why we feel somnolent, because melatonin, this hormone, is related to sleep. There is a specialist psychologist, he has a PhD, Jeffrey Foster, and he studied the influence of circadian rhythms, but not day and night cycles that we know very well about and we talk about very often. He studied depression and seasonal changes, and he found out that depression is apparent in November. And it's interesting that ancient philosophers or doctors called this period as an invitation to rest. And that is also related to this additional increase of melatonin level. So what happens? Our body starts to produce less heat than this heat is used. So there is this impaired thermoregulation, and this is very important. Why is that? If we lose heat,
в каком случае мы это не будем делать? Вот те из вас, кто слушал мой вебинар,
those who heard my webinar on impact on our body in September, you might remember I told you what one of the main organs do. Maybe someone can remember what this organ is. You can try to write it in the chat. Our body needs to get ready for winter. And if you don't know, that is the liver and its function throughout September and during one half of October. It prepares our body from freezing in winter, in cold weather. But if we failed to help our liver in September, in early October, because there were other processes in October, that is all related to nature. So what happens? We don't produce enough heat, and we spend it much faster. We become very slow, very kind of lazy. We lack initiative and willingness to do anything. Another factor that we should remember is the change to winter time. How does the body adapt? It depends on the person, and this adaptation period may last for weeks or even months.
Ну, есть, знаете, вот, кстати, поэты, они
And
осенние стихи, если
by
вы
the way,
прочитаете про осень,
if
они
you
все
read
такие
poets,
с легкой
they
грустинкой или даже больше.
wrote their
Вот
poems, very
Елена
sad
Булатова,
ones
у
about
нее есть замечательное
autumn.
стихотворение, буквально пару строк. У осени есть
There
хитрая
is
ловушка,
such
уютный
a
плед
poem that
и
autumn
кресло,
has
чая
a
кружка и монолог
nice
с
trap. It
собою меж
has
глотками.
a
Вот это есть
chair, a warm
классическое
chair, a cup of
проявление
tea,
чего в
and
ноября
the
не
dialogue
ищется.
with yourself. That
Итак,
is
ноябрь.
a classical
Обостренное
example of
желание
November.
тепла и
So in
любви.
November, you have this
Ну, вот теперь
increased desire
вернемся к
for
тому,
warmth
что
and
в нашем
love.
организме
And
есть два
now
фильтра. Два
let's return
главных.
to the fact that
Первый–
there are
это
two
печень
main
фильтр,
filters in
и
our body.
второй
The
фильтр–
first one is
это
the liver, of
почки.
course, and the second one are kidneys.
Энергия почек и вообще
Kidney
почки. Что
energy,
это
energy of
такое?
the kidneys. What
Сначала
are
расскажу
kidneys?
взгляд
Let
восточной
me
медицины,
tell you
которая
first of all about the
непосредственно там
perception of
все
the
связано
Eastern
с
medicine,
законами
because
природы. Что
everything in
такое
Eastern
почки?
medicine
Это
is
самый
related to the
большой
nature. So,
сундучок
what are
физического
kidneys?
и
Kidneys
психического
are the
здоровья.
biggest
И здесь
reservoir of
происходит,
mental
внимание,
and
накопление
physical health,
важнейших
and that's where
микроэлементов.
the
Это
most
центр
important
врожденной
microelements are
энергии, которая
stored, and
после
that is the
рождения
center
человека должна
of innate
постоянно
energy. And
пополняться
after a
извне.
person is
А
born,
что пополнять
this
извне будет
energy
эту
needs to be
энергию?
replenished from
Это будет
outside.
то, что
What will
содержится в
replenish
нашей
this
пище,
energy?
а будет
Everything
зависеть
that
от
we get
желудка.
from
А
food.
почему желудок?
That
Сейчас
will
мы с вами
depend on
поговорим.
stomach.
И
And why stomach?
поджелудочная
We will talk
железа.
about that.
В
And also,
Китае вот
it
это
depends
вот,
on pancreas.
понимаете, мощность энергии
In
почек,
China,
первичной энергии, называлась первая мать.
this
Итак,
was a very
берем
important
ситуацию,
kind of
когда
energy,
в
the
сентябре,
kidney
еще раз
energy. So let's
повторяю,
look at the situation
середина
when
октября
in
или, может, даже
September,
весь октябрь, мы не
mid-October,
занимались
maybe the entire
печенью. Обычно,
October,
как
we paid
я
no
слышала
attention to
не раз,
our
что,
liver.
ой,
And I've
пришла весна,
heard many
надо
times
сделать
like,
дренаж,
oh, it's
почистить печень,
spring now, I
да,
need to
вот. А
cleanse
оказывается,
my
надо
liver.
помогать-то
But
совсем в
it
другое
turns
время.
out we have
И
to do that in a
что у нас
different season.
получается? Нам
So
становится
what
холодно
happens?
по
We
поводу энергии, я
feel
уже
cold.
сказала,
I've
и
already mentioned the energy. And
начинается энергия, которой не хватает, вот
then
холодно,
the
да, вот
energy
в
that we
ноябре
lack
холодно
and
нам,
we feel
энергия
cold
уже
in
заимствуется
November.
уже
So
от
we
почек. Почки
borrow this
начинают наш
energy
согревать.
from
Каким
kidneys.
образом? Вот в
Kidneys
желудке
start
должна быть
to
температура
heat us.
39 градусов.
39
И
degrees is the
если
temperature
там
that
не
needs
хватает
to
этой
be in the
энергии,
stomach. And if we
значит,
lack this
почки
energy,
добавляют эту
then
энергию, а
kidneys will
проявляется это
add to
как?
this energy.
Нам
And
хочется
how
горячей
do
пищи.
we perceive it?
Нам
We
хочется
want
горячей,
hot
чтобы
food.
согреть
We
вот
want
в
hot
желудке,
food to
довести
warm
до
the
39
stomach up,
градусов.
to
Ну
make
вот,
sure the
понимаете,
temperature is
тут момент
39
такой.
degrees.
Вот
And
сейчас такая, ну она оправданная, но все-таки,
you
однако,
know,
очередная мода. Моды всегда будут меняться
now there
вовсю,
is
не
a
только
fashion,
на
and
одежду,
fashion
но и также по поводу
trends
здоровья.
change
Вот
each
пьют
other.
воду. А вот
So
китайцы,
there is a trend
зная то,
to
что я вам
drink water,
сегодня
and Chinese
рассказала,
people, they are
они
aware of
пьют
all these things.
горячую
They
воду,
drink
они
hot
помогают
water.
своим
They
почкам.
help their kidneys.
Что касается роли
As to
почек,
the role
функции
of the
ее в
kidneys
современной
in the
медицине,
body,
вот западного направления
according to the
медицины,
modern
это
medicine
главная функция
of
какая?
the
Выделительная
Eastern
функция. А что выделяется?
trend
Ну,
is excretory
состав
function.
мочи мы
What
сейчас не
is
будем говорить,
excreted?
но
We
с
aren't
мочой
going to
выделяется.
discuss
Но
about the
самое
composition of
главное,
urine. It is
должны
all
выделяться
excreted
такие
with
вещи,
urine,
как
but the most
продукты
important things that need to
окислительного
be
или
excreted are
белкового
uh,
обмена.
the
Это серьезные вещи,
waste
которые, если они
products
будут
of
накапливаться у нас в
uh,
организме, ничего
nitric
хорошего из этого не будет, будем с
metabolism.
вами
They are
страдать.
not
Это
supposed to
аммиак,
be
это у нас
stored in our body.
мочевина,
That's
это креатинин, в
ammonia,
общем, и
that's
что будет в
urea and all other similar substances, and kidneys are the first organs to suffer.
We receive protein food, we drink water, and in the end, there are certain biochemical processes, and then we have waste. And waste from protein food. So the metabolism products have to be getting out with urine using the pressure from kidneys. Kidneys excrete urine. So if kidneys manage that and um, and November puts all the responsibility on the kidneys, so to say, so they don't have sufficient pressure. So what do? They send a signal to the brain: we lack pressure to excrete the toxins, and then arterial blood pressure goes up. So what do people do? They go to drugstore and buy medicine to lower the blood pressure, or doctors give them that, and kidneys are shocked because they lack pressure, and the person tries to lower the pressure. So what happens? The things that have to be excreted with urine start getting deposited where? In extracellular space, and so our joints are getting damaged. And then what helps us? Non-steroid drugs, and again kidneys suffer. So it's not fun for them at all. So please pay attention. In November, you have to understand which body organ truly needs our support. Now, whether we want it or not, if we speak primitively, we are filters, and we have to excrete the metabolism products. And why kidneys, and why they're down there? Let me remind you that November, for all living things, for example, of the plants, all the juices go down to the root, down below, creating pressure going down. And our down below is exactly kidneys that have to handle with excreting all that. So the laws of nature, no matter what we do, they work. What else do we need? We need healthy vessels. And what word is connected to vessels? Well, everybody thinks of cholesterol. So, for everything to happen well within physiological norm, all the processes need healthy vascular system. They provide for healthy body. So cholesterol is very important. Why? It is important both for brain protection and for synthesis and state of our sex hormones. And these are hormones of our happy life. It's important for joint health, against breast cancer that happens quite often nowadays, osteoporosis, muscle health. Many things are connected to cholesterol, and the cell membrane composition through which nutrients and minerals, etc., pass are also connected to cholesterol, because it's part of their content. So, about Alzheimer's, here it's the other way around. What do I mean? It's the higher the cholesterol, the farther we are from Alzheimer's. That's the paradox that is still to be researched. It's wonderful that we have many discoveries ahead of us. As to cholesterol and its norms, well, once again, it's a fad, it's a fashion. Well, people found out about cholesterol, that's awesome, but not understanding it well, they went the wrong way, because there are different cholesterols, and you must not be afraid just of the number of cholesterol and try to lower it at any cost. That's completely wrong. And well, any fade and fashion is not that good. That's why in the beginning of our meeting I told you that I teach you understanding, not just dumping information on you. So, cholesterol, yes, young people, teenagers lack vitamin D, and November, us deal with that. So, the most vulnerable are, of course, teenagers and young people from 20 to 30. As to vitamin D, yes, truly, cholesterol is connected to that. And what have we found out? We have found out, because the science doesn't stand on one place, it's developing. So what they found out, that do we need vitamin D? Of course we do, it's very important, and today we all have deficiency. However, vitamin D is fat soluble. Where is it deposited? Where is it solved? In fat tissue. So the fatter the person, the more fat tissue he has and contains vitamin D. Is that clear? So overweight means that the blood might have a lower number, but the deposits of vitamin D are certainly more. So what happens? For example, you need to have an increase of vitamin D, and when you are overweight, and we are now speaking about young people who tend to have these problems, so the doctors start giving them high dosage of vitamin D, but this in turn, because they already have an excess in deposits, so it increases the level of cholesterol in these people, and triglycerides. And triglycerides are connected with carbohydrates metabolism. And this means what? Sugar diabetes, cardiovascular diseases. So this is two-faced coin. Yes, they need vitamin D, but you have to take into account their weight. The more weight they have, the more careful you have to be about vitamin D. You have to remember that you can provoke unhealthy results for the person. So, we know that in November we lack the sun, which also decreases the generation of vitamin D, but everything depends on the person's fat tissue. And it's also connected with the deficit of energy. However, what do we have to remember? Everything has to be reasonable, not according to fashion. And the very important prerequisite for you to understand is that our two filters are connected. So our liver, well, the vitamin D is first and foremost connected to calcium. So if we lack calcium or we have an excess of calcium, then everything is going to start to break. Why? Because in our liver, the calcium has to go to it's a diol calcium, and it has to go to kidneys as a triol. It's a different form. So we speak a lot about vitamins, and yes, indeed, all of that will happen only when we have sufficient vitamin C, vitamin B2, vitamin K2, and vitamin E. And that's not all. We need minerals, minerals, and again minerals. We remember about our kidneys, which is our treasure box of electrolytes, and we need minerals. If we lack zinc, iron, magnesium, then again everything breaks. And when does it break? Of course, in November. Let me tell you once again, everything has to be reasonable through understanding. So, what is our task? To heighten our energy in November when we have too much melatonin and the weather is not very favorable. But we still have to be full of energy, full of love for life. We have to work, we have to study, we need strength, meaning we need energy. And usually people use three types of energy drinks, which are what? Coffee, tea, green and black, and energy drinks. About the last ones, it's very simple. You get energy from those due to lots of sugar. So which is bad for liver because too much sugar comes and there's a glycogen in liver, and so the glycogen is excreted because of sugar again and again and again, and the liver is exhausted, and it's our first filter, especially for youth. You know, they it seems to me most often use the energy drink. And the result is temporary and harmful. As to coffee and tea, there are many different types of research which are interesting. But what's related to our topic is that they found out two points of aging in cascades when our body goes into next phase of aging. It's 44 and 60. And in physiology faculty of the University of Granada, they have an interesting research. They had a volunteer group, some were taking placebo, the others were taking caffeine, and what they discovered, and they drew a conclusion that coffee in the second half of the day, 30 minutes before exercise, helps to slim down faster. Maybe someone needs that information. And we have to speak about tea, and not just about tea. Yes, in autumn, late autumn, in November, hot tea is just wonderful. But what I would like to tell you, it's about green tea. Green tea, why? Because once again, there is a fade and fashion on green tea being antioxidant. We know that. However, let's go back and face the nature again and face the oriental type of medicine. There is this Chinese proverb saying the following: you become healthy through green tea, you should already have a big reserve of health. Why? Because green tea is the only plant that contains an incredible amount of active ingredients. So, and there are three types of xanthin, which makes you younger, and it's a spasmolite. But there are three, all three there: caffeine, theophylline, and theobromine. And because of such a big amount of active ingredient, not everyone can take it. So, and I believe I have to warn you that due to this fashion, when people regularly take green tea, they actually have counterindications. So if you really want it, don't do it too fast. So osteoporosis, hypertonia, sugar diabetes, irritated bowel, anemia, tachycardia, anxiety, and disorders of blood coagulations, all of those are counterindications. So fashion is one thing and health is another. So how should we go through November with dignity? First and unsurprising, it's physical activity moderated. What does it mean? Meaning walking outside. Though this is a humid fresh air, but still. And now our arms, our feet, and our spine have red bone marrow that synthesizes different cell elements. First of all, erythrocytes and also lymphocytes and monocytes. But erythrocytes are important because muscles are connected to these bones, and during exercise, what happens? There is a new excretion of those red blood cells, which makes us younger. And also, red bone marrow loves cholesterol, it eats it up. So, again, it's very good for us if we are active. The next thing, let me check. Okay, so this was physical activity and walking, which I've spoken about. And the next is sleep. To enter the new routine of day rhythm due to change of time, if you are able to have a nap at lunch, it's very good. But let me tell you at once, it's help for our kidneys not to take away their energy. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. So that would be just awesome. And it also restarts your nervous system. Next, anti-stress. Well, fellowship with nice people, those who are not sad. Well, the weather is sad, but fellowship has to be nice. And it's also good to sleep under heavy blankets. They are even sold now. Next, balanced diet. Well, of course, it's wonderful to have autumn plants, everything that grew in your garden in autumn. And so it's carrot, garlic, onion, pumpkin, beets, and many others. Let's not forget about black chocolate. It's a very important thing that helps us. Then avocado, which is quite common now, and many people are used to it. And cucumbers, despite the fact that at this moment in November, cucumbers are not that spread, but you still can buy it. You would think it's just water, 95% of water, but this water contains tartronic acid that burns down cholesterol. So cucumbers are good for you. They help you. And also they contain all water-soluble vitamins and minerals that are really necessary, especially to our kidneys. And not have bad habits. If you go to sleep too late, let's just talk to yourself. It's important for you. You have to go to sleep today to wake up tomorrow. So before midnight. And alcohol, smoking, of course, are of no use to your health. Now, supplements, do we need them? Of course we do. We live in the 21st century, so of course the food has changed and we are the same. And we haven't gotten an additional liver or a kidney or a second heart. We are still the same, but our building blocks nowadays are completely different, the food. So when you go to sleep, please finish all your tasks before, because unfinished tasks will also take away your energy. So, thus we draw a conclusion. How should we help ourselves? So, what is the vector of being healthy? In November, hopefully, I've shown you what is happening very briefly in our body in this month. So, three directions. You have to help and support kidneys, first of all. Secondly, make your vessels healthy. They have to be healthy so that everything happens the way it should. And the transportation happens where it should, and restoration of energy. So what does DuoLife offer us in this case. Let us now see how can we truly help our kidneys. So, formula Pro Stick. I know that we mostly know it as supporting our muscle skeletal system, but if you look and pay attention, it also all supports our kidneys. Let us now quickly go through it, and I will try to do it clearly. So we see here Mumio Shilajit. This is gathered from Himalayas and Tibetan mountains, and it's called Mumio Shilajit. It's an amazing extract containing 28 chemical elements, 30 micro and macro elements in ionous form, so it's ionic balance. So water mineral metabolism directly connected to kidneys. And what happens? Mineralization of all the bones and joints. That's why it helps muscle skeletal system. It's an antioxidant, of course. It's against inflammation, of course, and it helps directly to protect kidneys, vessels, heart, and the first filter, which is our liver. Now let's look next. It's called Centella asiatica. It's, so that you know, elephants love it. Why do elephants love it? It's like cats, like catnip, but elephants love it because it strengthens joints and decreases the edema of feet. Because, well, elephants weigh a lot, and their feet, their legs have to hold that weight. So they really love this Centella asiatica. Next, willow bark as a diuretic to remove inflammation and edema. You know what happens with unhealthy kidneys. So you have bags under eyes, you have edema on your legs. Next, Gander angelic root and devil's claw root. It's very interesting. Why? Because it decreases edema, and it helps with kidneys. And guardian angelic root, it's called also in Russian an Archangel Michael's herb, but I'm not about that. So it's antiseptic, spasmolytic. So it helps with kidneys a lot, removing spasms, and it's diuretic. So the whole composition is very fit, and it's good to take it in the first half of the day. A small hint: if a man has bags under eyes and snores at night, then I advise to check kidneys. A simple urine test. It should be done, not to miss the symptoms. And also, well, it's mostly legs edema with women, but with men it's often bags under eyes and snoring. So the second formula that directly supports kidneys in November, it's a wonderful formula. It's maca root extract. So what's important? Because it contains microelements of potassium. There is vitamin K, but there is a microelement potassium. So what does it do? it decreases the tension of blood vessels and thus helps decrease pressure and atherosclerotic development in the vessels, which is so important to filtrate urine then in kidneys. So it helps endurance and helps with when there is inflammation of urine system, and also with prostate, which is very important for men after 40. So it positively influences, so it helps with prostate problems. And of course, with reproduction age, it helps with the reproductive system, which way the quality of sperm and sperm count and so their speed, that is fertility, is quite increased. With all the inflammatory kidney disease, maca is also indicated. And it also improves the quality of sleep, which is quite important, of course, because the sleep quality is connected to brain activity, so that we would not be sleepy during the day, but would be active doing all our planned things. And of course, it helps the whole body because it helps with sexual function, so it's not for children, but so the grown-ups take it in the second half of the day. Now we have seen two formulas to help kidneys, prostate and maca. Now let's talk about vessels. Well, the thing is that vessels is the last place where the nutrients enter from to cells of certain organs and tissues. So healthy vessels are our health. We can take very smart things and consume them, but if our capillaries do not transport them, then the result will not happen. People will say, take and take and take, and some formulas, but there is no result. So it's the question of the condition of your vessels. So procardial supports vessels of the whole cardiovascular system, from the major vessels at the heart and ending with the smallest that are called capillaries. And the whole content is about that. Briefly, you understand, that many things you know here. So hawthorn dilates small capillaries and increases metabolism through the wall of the vessels and burns cholesterol. And the next very bright flower, hibiscus flower, has very interesting story. Drink. It was called a drink of pharaohs because it's like blood, bright red. But now it's just carcade tea. But here we have the extract, which strengthens the walls of vessels, decreases their brittleness, and vitamin P, which is there, increases the elasticity, decreases edema. And it's an antioxidant, of course, beta carotene. And you know what else it contains? That's why I understand it was called the drink of pharaohs, because it contains captopril. So you can buy in drugstore medicine called captopril, where there it will be synthetic, of course, that lowers blood pressure. But here it's a plant origin, very gentle. If you think you will simply take carcade tea, hibiscus tea, and you will decrease pressure, then you are mistaken, because you will have to take it for years. And in procardial we have an extract, and it's exactly the correct dose. Then the red grape skin, it's the source of energy, and prevents oxidation, and chokeberry here too, which contains minerals and even iodine, which is also important, but for different reason. So all the fat soluble and water soluble vitamins, both are found there, and it all strengthens vessels, gives them elasticity, and increases hemoglobin, and decreases blood pressure and cholesterol.
Then you can also see motherwort herb, that is an anti-stress plant that reduces stress and spasm of blood vessels, but it doesn't happen very suddenly. It is a slower process, otherwise blood vessels may explode. And then Baikal skullcap is a very interesting plant because it thins the blood, preventing aggregation of platelets. That's why blood circulates and supplies oxygen and various nutritive substances, so your body benefits from it. So that is the patented formula. And what I like about this formula is that there is chicory root, which is a probiotic for our microbiota in the intestines. It cleans blood vessels. The entire formula cleans blood vessels because there is choline, vitamin B4, that protects the membranes of the blood vessels from sclerotic lesions. And sclerotic lesions are the lesions causing fissures in the blood vessels. And another formula that, of course, also helps our blood vessels. Cardial influenced more blood vessels and their walls, but procolterol is a formula that will impact from inside, and that is the regulator of lipid metabolism. I find it very beneficial when formulas are made in a way that they encompass the entire process, and that follows the traditions of Tibet medicine. These special metabolisms, such as carbohydrate or lipid metabolism. Procultural, this name means that it is to fight cholesterol that affects blood vessels by causing plaques, etc. And the cardiovascular diseases are leading in the mortality statistics. What do we need to know? We need to know a very simple thing. There are two fractions of cholesterol. One is bad and another one is good. There is a very simple difference. If we look at the molecule, what is bad cholesterol? The molecule of bad cholesterol has a lot of cholesterol and very little protein. But in good cholesterol, it's vice versa, a lot of protein and very little cholesterol. So if it's bad, why do we need it in our body? Because we don't need it. We do need it, although it is bad. It is bad only when there is an excessive amount of that cholesterol. And if we reduce the amount, the level of bad cholesterol, it's not good either. That is low density cholesterol. It is heavy. It goes down the vascular walls. But if this cholesterol finds a lesion in the vascular wall, it will close that lesion. But if there is too much of this cholesterol, it means that it will close in several layers, and that is not good. How to reduce its amount. Thanks to procholesterol, it ensures the proper amount of good and bad cholesterol, just the amount that you need to repair your blood vessels. And you also need good cholesterol to build hormones, etc. The second direction is to cleanse the entire cardiovascular system from excessive amount of bad cholesterol. And the third direction is to deal with the excesses of bad cholesterol and total cholesterol that might be above the norm, to excrete them through the liver with the bile into the intestines, and then it is excreted from the body. So do you understand how clever this system is? And if you allow, I will just mention a couple of ingredients to show you the uniqueness of this formula, of this composition. Red fermented rice, monocolin K, and once again, potassium. I think many of you remember about osmotic pressure from their physics at school. That is the pressure related to the membrane of the cell. There is potassium and sodium pump in the cell, and there is a lot of sodium in our food and not sufficient amount of potassium. So potassium participates in this water and salt exchange that is very necessary for kidneys, and that's especially important in November. Levostatin is another substance of plant origin. You can find it at pharmacies, but it is synthetic. It is a part of drugs reducing cholesterol level and blood pressure. And we have the same product of plant origin, and it only excretes bad cholesterol without doing anything to the good cholesterol. So anti-sclerotic effect is very clear. There is less cholesterol produced, and the disruption of bad cholesterol increases while good cholesterol returns to normal values. And when a person makes a test and sees that he has high numbers, if this person takes procholesterol, the total level of cholesterol reduces by 30%. I did try that on myself. Of course, I did not take only procholesterol, but that was the first formula I found out about, and it took me really short time to realize that I need it. And another very interesting thing is the southern ginseng, so to say. And whenever you hear the word ginseng, if you see it, you can know that this is contraindicated to children. And that is tonic that during a symposium in Beijing was included in top 10 best herbs that has a very beneficial impact and effect on 5 systems of the body. Our extract is included in this list, and some other things. Very simple number, very simple thing that was known before in the millennia BC. It was also known in the Tibet. That is garlic, not the garlic that we have now, because the garlic that we have, what bactericide properties can it have if it is affected by microorganisms, and if it is affected by mold. So we need this wild garlic that keeps all necessary properties. So the entire composition is aimed at dissolving fats and burning fats, and of course chicory, because we need to feed our microbiota. This composition reduces edema, swellings, and improves the functions of the body, works with the blood vessels, and restores the balance between the good and bad cholesterol. And bad cholesterol is actually very good because it also helps us. Two formulas related to kidneys. I want to mention two more formulas. Formulas for our energy. I want to remind you that melatonin is synthesized more in November, and everything goes to sleep in nature, but we need to carry on. So, what do these two miraculous formulas do? That is our business card, our signature at DuoLife. It improves these changes and it sends melatonin where it is needed. If we are passive during the day, we will be active before going to bed, and we won't be able to fall asleep. So we need to redistribute melatonin. That will help us have a good sleep at night, and we will be well rested, and that will allow our first filter, that is the liver, and our second filter, the kidneys, to do these big tidy up, this big cleansing in the body that we accumulated. Maybe someone is on a diet trying to lose weight. All fats are burned, but the toxins stored in the fat tissue go into the bloodstream. So that is a very interesting topic. That's something you should think about. You should understand that. Then xenobiotics, all foreign bodies that we inhale, we use various chemicals. We, after all, live in the 21st century and we need to carry on, but we need to support our body to be able to continue even in this gloomy November. What else would I like to tell you about these two formulas? When I just found out about DuoLife, it was a few years ago, not such a long time ago, when it was the eighth anniversary of DuoLife, so it was 3 years ago. It wasn't very recent. So what I understood that these kit day and night DuoLife, they are made following the best traditions of Chinese medicine and modern technologies, which is simply great. DuoLife Day contains ginseng. It means that this formula is not recommended to those who are under 18. In order to be able to have some reserves of serotonin, dopamine, this joy, and when you expect something good, you would better take DuoLife a day from 6 to 8 in the morning, and you will stay alert, you will stay full of energy, and you will function properly until the evening. As to DuoLife night, you should take it between 9 and 11 p.m., but not later, because you need to go to bed, and you should not interfere with the organs that function at night. And additional melatonin will help the body, and you will be fresh and well rested in the morning. And another formula that will help us and give us additional energy in this gloomy November. That is an energy formula. It includes three types of ginseng: Korean, American, and Siberian. And they give energy, they improve energy level. Plus, there is vitamin B6.
And let me tell you, all the three are energy: ginseng, ginseng, ginseng. But when they are together, they could like whip you like an electricity shot. But no, because everything has to be reasonable. So the American ginseng is exactly that. It softens down this whip effect. So you have a soft inflow of energy. You open your wings and you are able to go throughout the day. And the melatonin that will automatically be excreted additionally, because that's how weather is made in November. So it will go where necessary at night, so that our body has a good night rest. And vitamin B6 is an amazing vitamin, because can you imagine, it launches 150 biochemical reactions. So actually all our processes that are necessary for all the internal body organs. So the whole composition that you see in front of you, it's antioxidant, powerful, energetic, with rejuvenation effect, decreases anxiety and depression. In 2014, research confirmed that this composition prevents calcination of arteries, our central arteries, where the blood moves crazy fast. And all our arteries have to be flexible, not calcified and brittle, like glass, like thin glass. It also supports immune system, and in our body there are just three types of energy, and all three types of energy that I will name are helped by this composition, especially in November. So it's our physical energy, it's our mental energy, so for our nervous system, and our sexual system, which is endocrine system, because here we also have to be on top despite any human craziness, murders, wars, and so on. Our life has to go on, and children have to be born. So this ginseng formula with B6 is recommended in the first half of the day, best straight after breakfast, and counterindications until 18 years old because of ginseng. So we are coming to the finish line. So DuoLife has official websites and in social networks, Facebook, Instagram. You can get all the necessary information, and also in your back office, and from those who gave you this link to this meeting. But what I want to note, that there are many companies on the market that offer certain things, and every company, and it's normal of course, every company offers their own features, their own specials, and it has been and it will always be. But when I'm sad is when people who use the products start, for example, addressing me, telling, and why am I saying that? Because they invite me to other companies. You can't even imagine how many invitations I receive. But you understand where I am. I am here. I have made my choice and I know why. So they start saying, we have polyprenols, we have lignans, we have glutathions, we have this, we have that, we have a super duper slimming agent, and so on and so forth. It's all good and normal that all of that is available. However, I like that DuoLife already has it all. The only thing is, everybody wants very much to have a fast result. I understand that, but if we speak about health, fast is every day and slowly, then it's healthy. My father, in his youth, told me a very long time ago, as you understand, I've been living from the mid last century. So until you learn oaring correctly, it's useless to change the boat. You can't swim far. So think about that. And well, there is a big selection on the market, of course. So I would like to thank all of those who were with me and those who will listen later in the recording, and to our interpreters, Irina and Helena. And also to those people whom we don't see, people without whom this wouldn't happen. Technical support, Natalia and Marita. Thank you, my dear. I love you. And to the foundation Living Consciously for this opportunity to share knowledge. And if you like it, don't be shy and you can thank me too. And our next meeting will happen on the 3rd of December. You will get additional information on the topic, which I already know, and it's very interesting. So, see you next time. I wish you all health, happiness, luck. We'll go through November well, remaining